what is going on YouTube? My name is Murdoch and welcome back to another video. Now today, instead of showing you how to make art, I'm going to be talking about art I've already made. I'm going to be explaining how I made it and kind of the meaning behind some of it and why I did it. So what I created was a set of 13 different playing cards. Every diamond from a deck of cards, so the ace of diamonds, two of diamonds, so on, all the way up to king of diamonds. And I did this for a school art project. The criteria of the project was to create a piece that should take you about 3 weeks, using a technique you haven't done before, while also including symbolism in your art. So that led me to creating a set of 13 cards. I'll go through them one by one and explain how I did it and the meaning of them. So the first card I made was the ace of diamonds. I created it by layering Scotch tape on a card that I had painted white with acrylic first. So I just kept layering and layering, and how I got the diamond and the A symbol on it was by layering a bunch of Scotch tape on a table and then using an X-Acto knife to cut away the excess tape and then pulling them free and placing them on the card. There's no symbolic meaning to it, it's just the new medium that I was trying. Now this card, the two of diamonds, is a cassette tape, or it's supposed to be cassette tape. And the band on it is Billy Talent. This has been my favorite band probably since I was around 2. It's for as long as I can remember, at least, or as long as I could have a favorite band. They're a rock band from Toronto, or just outside Toronto. And the way I created this was I just painted using regular acrylic paint, and then I wrote the letters with Sharpie. Next up is this number 3. Now it's graffiti style. I just used acrylic paint to create it. And the symbolism behind this one is it's supposed to kind of refer back to a art piece I did in grade 9. Another school project, so my teacher would know what it symbolizes. And yeah, that's really all for that one. This is a collage, so I used clippings from newspapers and magazines to make this and glued them on with gel medium. No real symbolism behind this, just looks kind of cool, so that one's done. Now onto the 5 of diamonds. This one I created by painting over the card with white and gold. White was just to conceal the 5 and the diamonds on the card. Then the gold is going to be the 5 and the diamonds, like it was. Then I covered the 5 and the diamonds up with tape, and splattered paint on it, similar to the music note and the word art abstract pieces that I did before. Moving on to number 6. This is kind of like the Galaxy Pokeball I did a while ago. I used Prismacolor pencil crayons to make the galaxy effect, followed by wet acrylic paint to make the stars and the 6 and the diamonds. Now, I didn't actually do this on the card itself. I did it on paper. I did a few others like this too. Did it on paper first, then glued it to the card and cut away the excess paper from around the card. This one, it's 7 of diamonds, kind of hard to tell, but it says 7 of diamonds down there. It's a kind of like a blueprint floor plan thing. It's something we did in tech design class, which is the architecture class I have taken, and I found it interesting and thought it would be a good idea. So there's not much really to say about it, except it's a floor plan. I used fine tip Sharpie to do this on paper, similar to the 6 of diamonds. Now the 8 of diamonds is not the most technically advanced, but it's got a lot of symbolism to me. My mom, a long time ago, made me a painting, and it was of the Yellow Submarine, because of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine album. And she made it by coloring on a piece of paper with yellow crayon, then going over it with watercolor paint. That's what created the cool effect of the paint on the crayon. So that was pretty cool. For the 9 of Diamonds, I wanted one of the cards to be Canada related, and the 9 of Diamonds is one of the last cards I did, and I realized that I didn't have one that represented Canada yet, so I decided to try to make a maple leaf out of diamonds, which I kind of succeeded. I just used acrylic paint and fine tip Sharpie for this one too. Moving on to number 10. I actually did watercolor on the card itself, not on a piece of paper like the Yellow Submarine. So I coated the card in a watercolor foundation first, 2 coats of that. Then I moved on to using the watercolor. The technique I used was I covered the card in water, then I dabbed paint on it, similar to the Triforce watercolor resist painting I did a while ago. It's on my YouTube channel. And then each of the diamonds is filled with Zentangles, and each one of these Zentangles is a Zentangle I used in my bear paw art, which isn't on my YouTube channel. I'll put a picture of it in the video. I might talk about that one in a separate video. So yeah, that's number 10. Now, a little context before the Jack. Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite movie series, or one of my favorite movie series. And I thought the Jack of Diamonds would be the perfect opportunity to incorporate Jack Sparrow into my card. So instead of painting Jack Sparrow on the card itself, I painted his tattoo that identifies him in the first movie. Then for the Queen, I was having trouble thinking of things, so I just did Little Red Riding Hood standing on a hill. Nothing too special about this. And for the King, I drew a shaded skull in pencil, and this is to symbolize another piece of art I did earlier this year, not on my YouTube channel. It was also for school. And in the original piece, he's wearing a top hat, and in this piece, I decided to put him wearing a crown because he is the king, after all. So that is the symbolism and how I made each one of these cards. If you enjoyed this kind of video, because I don't normally do these kinds of videos, make sure to let me know in the comments below if you'd want to see more similar to this. And that's all. Thanks for watching. See ya.